Take a look at a standard sewing needle. It weighs barely 5 grams. It's 2 inches long. If you dropped it on your foot, you wouldn't even notice. But imagine taking that exact same object, aiming it at Earth, and accelerating it to 99.999999% the speed of light. This illustrates relativistic kinetic energy. At everyday speeds, the curve stays flat, but as an object approaches the universal speed limit, the speed of light, that curve shoots vertically toward infinity. Its mass stays tiny, but its energy balloons out of control. Because it's traveling so close to C, it creates a terrifying optical illusion. The needle is moving almost exactly as fast as the light reflecting off its surface. Your eyes would receive zero visual warning. By the time your retina registers the glint of metal in the sky, the object has already passed straight through your body. At this extreme velocity, it ceases to behave like a solid object. It transforms the entire planet into an inescapable particle physics experiment. When the needle first hits the upper atmosphere, standard aerodynamics completely break down. A normal meteor pushes air out of its way, creating a pressure wave. At relativistic speeds, the oxygen and nitrogen atoms in the air can't move fast enough to get out of the way. To the needle, they are completely stationary targets. The needle's atoms slam into the atmosphere so violently that it forces spontaneous nuclear fusion. Every centimeter of its descent acts like a moving particle accelerator, bathing the air below in a blinding shower of gamma radiation and X-rays. Before it even touches the ground, the air surrounding the needle's path is instantly converted into a searing plasma. The trail left in its wake burns hotter than the literal core of our own sun. And because of its extreme velocity, this entire sequence, from atmospheric entry to surface ignition, takes a fraction of a single millisecond. Earth's protective atmosphere offers zero friction to slow it down. It serves entirely as radioactive fuel for the incoming strike. Imagine the needle strikes a dense urban center like New York City. It doesn't poke a tiny hole in the concrete. Upon contact, the needle itself vaporizes instantly. But all that momentum has to go somewhere. The kinetic energy transfers directly into the Earth's crust, yielding an explosive force of roughly 43 gigatons. To put that math in perspective, the Tsar Bomba was the largest nuclear weapon ever detonated by humans. This single 5-gram needle delivers an impact 800 times more powerful. A crater several miles wide erupts from the bedrock. A primary shock wave travels outward, completely leveling absolutely every structure within a 100-mile radius. The sheer seismic momentum pushes deep underground. The physical thump of the initial strike ripples through the tectonic plates, strong enough to be felt all the way across the Atlantic Ocean. Despite its tiny mass, the needle behaves exactly like a civilization-ending asteroid, violently shattering the structural integrity of the continental shelf. Because it is incredibly dense and moving so fast, the initial surface explosion is only a fraction of the problem. A portion of the needle's superheated plasma remnant punches completely through the Earth's crust. This cross-section shows the invisible scar left behind, a massive, hollow vacuum channel bored directly through the Earth's mantle. The Earth's interior is under immense pressure. Instantly, millions of tons of superheated rock violently collapse inward to fill the space. This rapid internal collapse triggers a secondary chain of events, a simultaneous series of global catastrophic earthquakes and mega-tsunamis tearing across every coastline. The 43 gigaton explosion on the surface was merely the entry wound. The planet ultimately destroys itself from the inside out, just by trying to close the gap. Years later, the view from orbit reveals a ruined world. The continents are completely obscured by a thick, swirling blanket of pulverized crust. This dust triggers a kinetic winter. The sun is blocked out for years, completely rewriting the global climate and starving out any remnants of surviving civilization. At its core, this thought experiment visually demonstrates Einstein's equation, E equals mc squared. It proves that mass and energy are exactly the same thing, just expressed differently. The sheer size and solidity of the Earth offers zero actual defense against the extreme forces present in a high-energy universe. We aren't safe because our planet is a giant fortress of rock. Humanity's continued existence is entirely dependent on the universe's absolute speed limit and the immense, quiet distances keeping